you did know Bowie very well.
I knew him very
Tell
well.
me stories.
He was your neighbour, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. One time we... I mean, I did Space Oddity with him initially, then did a Hunky Dory album with Life on Mars and that. And then did... the last thing I did with him was Absolute Beginners in the mid-'80s. But in the late 70s, 76 to 1980, I was living in Switzerland. And,
Tax exile.
Actually, very far from it, because you ended up paying tax in both the countries. It certainly wasn't a tax. But no, I was living there, and David was living up the same mountain. I mean, everybody lived up mountains. If you lived in Switzerland, you didn't live on the flat. And we used to meet regularly in a little club called the Museum Club, which is still there in Montreux, and put the world to rights. So we got to know each other really well as friends.
You gave a great interview on television about how the two of you worked together. I think it was like Life on Mars, and you were following your natural inclinations.
Yeah, and then he would throw something. I mean, I was very lucky. I think I was the first person to hear Life on Mars. He invited me round to his house, which was in Kent, Beckenham. Massive house. I called it Beckenham Palace. It was massive. And he had a grand piano there and a battered old 12-string. He said, play some songs. He was playing these songs, and he played Life on Mars on this battered old 12-string. I said, that song is wonderful. And he said, think of it as a piano piece. Write it down as a piano piece and play it as a piano piece, and then we can all work round what you do, which is what I did, which was... He was incredibly generous to musicians. But it was interesting, when he was playing, and I'm following along and making a few notes, and you sort of settle into what you're doing, and then suddenly he would... I go, where'd that come from? What's that? What you doing? Because he would suddenly, what I call, lead you up the garden path with everything was nice and smooth and doing very logical chord changes and patterns. And then he would do something completely off the wall. And he did that in all of his pieces. That's what made him such a great writer.
Original mind.
Very, very clever guy. I mean, I loved working with him. He was a pleasure to work with.